Captain Sci-Fi stared at the blue planet through the viewing screen of his command ship. Earth looked so small and peaceful from space. The white clouds moved slowly across the brown and green land. It was hard to believe this little world would soon be gone. "All ships report ready, Captain," said his second officer. Behind them, 300 warships waited in perfect formation. The Galactic Coalition had sent their best fleet to deal with the human problem. Sci-Fi had read the reports about these humans. They were a young species that had just learned to travel between stars 50 years ago. They were violent and fought each other constantly. Their technology was basic compared to the Coalition's advanced weapons. This should be an easy victory. "Begin the attack," Sci-Fi ordered. The Coalition fleet moved toward Earth like a dark cloud. Their plasma cannons charged up with deadly energy. These weapons had destroyed entire planets before. The humans would surrender quickly when they saw the Coalition's power. But something was wrong. As the fleet got closer to Earth, strange objects appeared on the sensors. They looked like metal platforms floating in space around the planet. "What are those?" Sci-Fi asked. "Unknown structures, Captain. There seem to be some kind of defense platforms. Our scans show they were built recently." Sci-Fi laughed. "Defense platforms? These humans think they can stop us with their primitive weapons?" The first human ships appeared from behind Earth's moon. There were only about 50 of them, tiny compared to the Coalition fleet. They looked different from the human ships in the intelligence reports. These were sleeker and moved faster. "Human ships approaching," reported the weapons officer. "They are firing." The human weapons hit the Coalition ships with surprising force. The energy beams cut through the alien shields like they were made of paper. Sci-Fi watched in shock as 3 of his ships exploded in bright balls of fire. "How are they doing this?" he shouted. "Their weapons should not be this powerful." More human ships appeared from different directions. They moved in ways that seemed impossible, turning and spinning faster than any ship should be able to move. The Coalition fleet tried to respond, but the humans were always where they did not expect them to be. Then the defense platforms around Earth began to fire. Strange blue beams shot out toward the Coalition ships. When these beams hit, the alien ships simply disappeared, not destroyed or exploded. They just vanished like they had never been there at all. "Captain, we are losing ships too fast," said the second officer. His voice shook with fear. "We have lost over 100 ships in 10 minutes. Sci-Fi could not believe what he was seeing. The Coalition had the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. They had conquered dozens of worlds. How could these primitive humans fight them so well? A human voice came over the communication system. It spoke in perfect Coalition language. "Coalition Fleet, this is Admiral Sarah Chen of Earth Defense Command. You have attacked our world without reason. We offer you one chance to leave in peace." "Never," Sci-Fi shouted back. "The Coalition does not surrender to primitives." "Then you have chosen your path," the human admiral replied. The battle became more intense. The human ships fought with a fury that Sci-Fi had never seen before. They threw themselves at Coalition ships twice their size, without fear. Even when badly damaged, they kept fighting until they were completely destroyed. But it was not just their courage that surprised him. The humans used tactics that made no sense according to military doctrine. They attacked from impossible angles and worked together in ways that seemed almost magical. It was like they could read each other's minds. The defense platforms around Earth kept firing their strange blue beams. Every shot made another Coalition ship disappear. Sci-Fi realized that these were not normal weapons. They used some kind of technology that the Coalition had never seen before. Hours passed. The Coalition fleet was being destroyed piece by piece. For every human ship they destroyed, they lost 5 of their own. Sci-Fi watched his proud fleet turn into floating wreckage. "Captain, we must retreat," said his second officer. "We cannot win this battle." Zexhai wanted to refuse, but he knew his officer was right. Of the 300 ships that had arrived at Earth, only about 70 were still working. Many of those were badly damaged. "All ships, fall back to the jump point," he ordered. "We retreat." As the remaining coalition ships limped away from Earth, the humans did not chase them. They just watched as the proud alien fleet ran away in defeat. When the coalition ships reached a safe distance, all the communication channels in the galaxy suddenly came alive with the same message. It was broadcast on every frequency, in every language spoken by every species in the coalition. The voice was calm but cold. "This is Earth. You came to our world and attacked us without warning. You tried to destroy our people. We have shown you that we can defend ourselves. Now hear our warning clearly. Attack us again, and we will destroy you all. Every ship, every world, every last one of you. This is not a threat. This is a promise." The message repeated 3 times, then stopped. Zexhai stared at the blue planet growing smaller on his screen. Something had changed in the galaxy today. The humans were supposed to be weak and primitive. Instead, they had proven to be something far more dangerous. As his damaged ship jumped to hyperspace, Zexhai wondered what other surprises these humans might have. He had a feeling that the galaxy would find out soon enough. Behind them, Earth continued to spin peacefully in space. But now everyone knew that this small blue world was not as helpless as it looked. The humans had sent their message, and the galaxy had received it loud and clear. 3 years had passed since the Coalition's failed attack on Earth. In the great halls of the Galactic Council, the alien leaders met to discuss what they called the human problem. High Commander Vextar stood before a massive hologram showing Earth. The planet looked peaceful from space. Cities glowed with lights at night. Ships moved between Earth and its colonies like nothing had happened. "Look at this," Vextar said, pointing at the image. "The humans are rebuilding just as we expected. Our intelligence shows normal civilian activity. They have repaired the damage from our attack. They seem to have returned to their old ways." The other coalition leaders nodded. They had been watching Earth carefully for 3 years. Spy satellites showed humans going about their daily lives. They built new buildings, grew food, and traveled between their colonies. Everything looked normal. "The human warning was just empty words," said Senator Clixara from her floating chair. "They were scared and desperate. Now they hide behind their little defense platforms hoping we will leave them alone." "Perhaps," said Vextar. "But we lost many ships in that battle. Those human weapons were more advanced than expected." "Lucky shots," Senator Clixara replied. "They probably used all their best technology in that one fight. Now they have nothing left." What the coalition leaders did not know was that far below Earth's oceans, massive construction projects were taking place. In deep underwater caves, human engineers worked day and night building new weapons. These facilities were hidden from the alien spy satellites by special shields that made them invisible. Dr. Rebecca Martinez stood in one of these secret bases, watching as workers assembled something that looked like a giant metal ring. This was a quantum gateway, a device that could move ships instantly across the galaxy. "How many more do we need?" asked General Park, the military commander overseeing the project. "We need at least 50 more," Dr. Martinez replied, "one for each target system. The plan only works if we can attack everywhere at the same time." The humans had learned important lessons from the coalition attack. They knew they were alone in a hostile galaxy. They also knew that the aliens would attack again when they thought Earth was weak enough. So Earth had made a plan. While they appeared to be rebuilding normally, they were actually preparing for war on a scale the galaxy had never seen. In hidden bases on dozens of moons and asteroids, human scientists studied the wreckage of coalition ships. They learned how alien technology worked and found ways to make it better. They discovered that the aliens had become lazy after centuries of easy victories. Their weapons were powerful but predictable. Meanwhile, human agents had been sent to every coalition world. These agents looked like the local alien species, thanks to advanced disguise technology. They got jobs in important places and slowly learned everything about coalition society. Agent Sarah Kim worked as a translator in the coalition headquarters. Every day, she listened to alien leaders make their plans. Every night, she sent secret reports back to Earth using a communication device hidden in her jewelry. "They still think we are weak," she reported in one message. "They talk about attacking Earth again, but not for several more years. They want to rebuild their fleet first." Other human agents worked in alien shipyards, military bases, and government offices. They mapped every important building and learned where the aliens kept their most powerful weapons. They found out which species were happy with the coalition and which ones wanted to leave. On Earth, Admiral Chen stood in a war room deep underground. The walls were covered with holographic displays showing the entire galaxy. Red dots marked coalition military bases. Blue dots showed where human agents were stationed. Green dots indicated friendly alien species who might help Earth. "Status report," Admiral Chen said to her staff. "The new fleet is almost ready," reported Captain Torres. "We have 200 ships equipped with quantum drives and phase weapons. They are invisible to coalition sensors." "What about the special project?" Admiral Chen asked. Dr. Martinez stepped forward. She had been working on something even more secret than the quantum gateways. "The consciousness transfer technology is complete. We can now upload human minds into quantum storage and download them into new bodies anywhere in the galaxy." This technology meant that human agents could be killed and still continue their missions. Their memories and personalities would survive in quantum storage until they could be given new bodies. "Excellent," Admiral Chen said. "And the alien technology analysis?" "We understand their weapons now," said Chief Engineer Lopez. "Their plasma cannons are powerful but slow. Their shields work well against energy weapons, but fail against quantum disruption. Most importantly, they have never learned to fight an enemy that can attack multiple targets at once." The coalition's main weakness was that they had always fought primitive species. They were used to crushing enemies with overwhelming force. They had never faced an opponent who could match their technology and surpass their strategy. As the years passed, more human agents infiltrated coalition society. Some became trusted advisors to alien leaders. Others joined alien military units and learned their battle tactics. A few even married aliens and started families, becoming completely invisible to coalition security. On the coalition world of Vex Prime, Agent Marcus Webb worked as a security officer at the main military headquarters. He had access to classified information about coalition fleet movements and battle plans. The aliens trusted him completely because his disguise was perfect. "The humans have been quiet for too long," he overheard General Thexmore say during a secret meeting. "We should send a patrol to test their defenses." Agent Webb made sure this information reached Earth immediately. The human leadership knew that the coalition was planning something new. Back on Earth, the final preparations were being made. The quantum gateway network was complete. Human ships waited in hidden bases throughout the galaxy. Agents were in position on every coalition world. Admiral Chen looked at the galaxy map one last time. 3 years of planning and preparation had led to this moment. The coalition thought Earth was weak and rebuilding. They were about to discover how wrong they were. "All stations report ready," said Captain Torres. "Good," Admiral Chen replied. "Now we wait for them to make their move. And when they do, the galaxy will see what humans are really capable of." The trap was set. Earth appeared vulnerable and peaceful, just as the coalition expected. But hidden in the shadows, humanity's greatest weapon waited patiently for the right moment to strike. Captain Mortex, of the coalition patrol ship Starfire, was having a boring day. His ship was flying through the outer rim of coalition space, looking for pirates or smugglers. They had found nothing for weeks. "Captain, "We have a contact on long-range sensors," reported his navigation officer. "What is it?" Mortex asked, hoping for something interesting. "It appears to be a human colony ship. Small vessel, maybe 300 people aboard. They seem to be having engine trouble." Mortex smiled. This was exactly what the coalition leadership had been waiting for. A chance to test Earth's resolve without starting a full war. "Are there any other human ships nearby?" he asked. "No, Captain. The ship is alone and defenseless." "Perfect." Mortex opened a communication channel to coalition headquarters. Within minutes, he had permission to do whatever he thought was necessary. The human ship was called the New Hope. It was carrying families to start a new colony on a distant world. Captain Lisa Park of the New Hope watched nervously as the coalition warship approached. "They are hailing us," said her communications officer. "Put them on screen." The alien captain appeared on the view screen. His reptilian face showed no emotion. "Human vessel, you are in coalition space without permission. Prepare to be destroyed." "Wait," Captain Park said quickly. "We are just peaceful colonists. Our engines are damaged. We need help, not violence." "The coalition does not help humans," Mortex replied. "You were warned to stay away from our territory." The New Hope tried to run, but their damaged engines could not escape the faster coalition ship. Mortex gave the order to fire. The human colony ship exploded in a bright flash of light. 300 innocent people died in seconds. Mortex recorded the destruction and sent the video to coalition headquarters. Within hours, the footage was broadcast across coalition space. The message was clear. Humans were still weak and could be destroyed easily. But the coalition had made a terrible mistake. Deep in the hidden command center on Earth, Admiral Chen watched the destruction of the New Hope with cold anger. She had known this might happen. The ship had actually been a trap, designed to make the coalition reveal their true intentions. "All units, this is Admiral Chen," she said into her communicator. "Operation Thunderstrike is now active. You have 7 minutes to reach your targets." Across the galaxy, human agents received the signal. In coalition space, Agent Sarah Kim was still working in the headquarters building. She quietly walked to a storage room and opened a hidden compartment. Inside was a small device that would disable the building's shields. On the coalition world of Thex Minor, Agent Marcus Webb was attending a meeting of alien military officers. When he received the signal, he excused himself and went to the bathroom. There he activated a quantum beacon that would guide human ships to their target. Similar scenes played out on 12 different coalition worlds. Human agents who had spent 3 years building trust and gathering intelligence suddenly revealed themselves. They disabled defense systems, marked targets, and prepared the way for what was coming. In space around each coalition homeworld, reality seemed to bend and twist. The quantum gateways that Earth had secretly built opened like invisible doorways. Through these gateways came the human fleet. The ships that emerged were unlike anything the coalition had ever seen. They were sleek and black, almost invisible against the darkness of space. They moved without making any sound, and gave off no heat that enemy sensors could detect. Admiral Chen herself led the strike force, attacking the coalition capital world. Her ship, the Terra's Revenge, appeared directly above the planet's main defense platform. "All ships, begin the attack," she ordered. What happened next lasted exactly 7 minutes, and changed the galaxy forever. The human ships fired weapons that the coalition did not understand. Phase cannons that could shoot through shields as if they were not there. Quantum disruptors that made enemy ships forget they existed. Plasma bombs that turned metal into gas. On the coalition capital, General Thexmore was in his office when the attack began. He watched through his window as the orbital defense platforms simply vanished. Not destroyed or damaged, they disappeared completely. "What is happening?" he shouted at his staff. "Unknown enemy ships have appeared throughout the system," replied his aide. "Our defenses are not responding. It is like our weapons cannot see them." The same thing was happening on every coalition homeworld at the same time. Human ships attacked with perfect coordination, as if they were all controlled by one mind. They hit military targets with surgical precision, leaving civilian areas completely untouched. On Vex Prime, the main shipyard was building new warships to replace those lost at Earth 3 years ago. The human attack ships appeared among the construction platforms like ghosts. They fired once, and the entire shipyard became a cloud of metal dust. The coalition tried to fight back, but their weapons could not lock on to the human ships. When they did manage to hit one, the ship seemed to heal itself and continue fighting. In the coalition command center, High Commander Vextar watched in horror as reports came in from every homeworld. "How many human ships are there?" he demanded. "We count approximately 50 ships at each target location, but that would mean they have at least 600 ships, and our estimates said they could not have more than 100. Where did they come from?" Our sensors showed no fleet movements toward our space. The truth was that the human ships had not traveled through normal space at all. They had used the quantum gateways to appear instantly at their targets. The coalition had no defense against technology they did not know existed. The human attacks were not random. Each target had been carefully chosen to cripple the coalition's military power without causing civilian casualties. Weapons factories, military bases, and warship construction yards were destroyed. Communication centers and command posts disappeared. The coalition's ability to make war was being systematically eliminated. But perhaps the most shocking part was how the humans fought. They worked together with perfect teamwork, never getting in each other's way or wasting ammunition. It was as if all 600 ships were controlled by one brilliant military mind. After exactly 7 minutes, the human ships stopped firing. The attacks ended as suddenly as they had begun. But the message had been sent clearly. A transmission appeared on every screen in coalition space. Admiral Chen's face looked directly at the alien leaders with calm confidence. "Coalition leadership, this is Admiral Sarah Chen of Earth Defense Command. 3 years ago, you attacked our world, and we warned you not to do it again. Today, you destroyed one of our ships and murdered 300 innocent people. We have shown you the consequences of your actions." She paused to let her words sink in. "Look around you. Your military power has been destroyed. Your weapons factories are gone. Your warships are scrap metal. We could have targeted your cities and killed billions of your people. We chose not to do it. This demonstrates both our power and our mercy." The coalition leaders stared at their screens in stunned silence. "This is your final warning," Admiral Chen continued. "Harm another human being, and we will not be so gentle next time. We will erase you from existence completely. You have seen what we can do. Do not test us again." The transmission ended. The human ships vanished as mysteriously as they had appeared, leaving behind only wreckage and fear. In the Coalition Command Center, High Commander Vextar slumped in his chair. 3 years ago, the humans had warned them. Today, they had proven their warning was real. The great assembly hall of the coalition had never seen such chaos. Leaders from 12 different species argued loudly, while emergency reports flooded in from every homeworld. The humans had destroyed the coalition's military power in 7 minutes, and no one knew what to do about it. High Commander Vextar stood at the center of the hall, trying to restore order. His usual confidence was gone, replaced by barely controlled panic. "Silence!" he shouted. "We must think clearly about our situation." "Think clearly?" screeched Senator Klixara. "The humans have made our military disappear. What is there to think about?" "We need to understand how they did this," Vextar replied. Our intelligence said they had maybe 100 ships. They attacked 12 worlds at the same time with 600 ships. Where did they come from? Admiral Rex Kwan of the Third Fleet stepped forward. I have been studying the attack patterns. The human ships appeared without any warning. Our long-range sensors detected no fleet movements toward Coalition space. It is like they materialized out of nothing. That is impossible, said General Thexmore. Ships cannot teleport across the galaxy. Perhaps they can, replied Admiral Rex Kwan quietly. We may have underestimated human technology by thousands of years. A new voice spoke from the back of the hall. It was calm and clear, speaking perfect Coalition standard. Actually, you underestimated us by about 50 years. Every head in the hall turned toward the voice. A human woman walked calmly down the center aisle. She was tall with dark hair and wore a simple blue uniform. Coalition security guards moved to stop her, but their weapons would not fire. Who are you? Demanded Vextar. How did you get past our security? I am Ambassador Elena Rodriguez of Earth, the human replied, and I have been here all along. She touched a device on her wrist, and suddenly her appearance changed. The human form dissolved, revealing the familiar shape of Senator Klixara. The real Senator Klixara, who had been speaking moments before, flickered like a hologram and disappeared. Gasps of shock echoed through the hall. The Coalition leaders stared in horror as they realized what they were seeing. For 3 years, I have sat in this hall as Senator Klixara, the human ambassador continued. I have listened to your plans, learned your secrets, and reported everything to Earth. You never suspected because your security was designed to keep outsiders out, not to detect replacements. General Thexmore jumped to his feet. This is impossible. Senator Klixara has been with us for 20 years. The real Senator Klixara died in a transport accident 3 years ago, Ambassador Rodriguez explained. We saved her memories and personality, then used them to create a perfect copy. Your own people helped plan her funeral. More Coalition leaders began to look around nervously. If the humans could replace one senator, how many others might be spies? You want to know how we attacked 12 worlds at once? The ambassador continued. We have had agents in place on every Coalition world for years. They disabled your defenses and marked targets for our ships. Some of them are sitting in this room right now. She pressed another button on her device. Throughout the hall, more Coalition leaders began to flicker and change. The defense minister revealed himself to be a human man. The head of Coalition intelligence became a human woman. Even some of the guards transformed into humans in disguise. 27 of your most trusted leaders have been our agents. They have had access to every secret, every plan, every weakness in your society. We know everything about you. High Commander Vextar staggered backward. This is what happens when you attack Earth without understanding what you are fighting, the ambassador said firmly. You thought we were primitive, but we learned to be invisible. You thought we were weak, but we learned to be patient. You thought we were divided, but we learned to work as one. Admiral Rex Kwan spoke in a trembling voice. What do you want from us? Earth's demands are simple, Ambassador Rodriguez replied. The Galactic Coalition will officially surrender. You will disband your military alliance and sign a peace treaty recognizing Earth's authority in this region of space. You will open your borders to human exploration and settlement, and you will pay compensation for the unprovoked attack on our world 3 years ago. Never! Shouted General Thexmore. The Coalition does not surrender to anyone. Ambassador Rodriguez smiled sadly. I was hoping you would say that, because it allows me to demonstrate something important. She spoke into her wrist communicator. Control, this is Rodriguez. Authorization code Terra 7 Alpha. Activate targeting display. Suddenly, every Coalition leader in the hall found themselves surrounded by a red glow. The light seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Each of you is now painted by targeting beams from quantum weapons positioned throughout this system, the ambassador explained calmly. The same applies to every military commander, government official, and coalition leader throughout your territory. At this moment, we have over 10,000 weapons aimed at 10,000 targets. She looked directly at High Commander Vextar. The weapons are not in space where you could find them. They exist in quantum dimensions that you cannot detect or reach. One word from me, and every person important to the coalition government dies instantly. The hall fell completely silent. The red glow around each leader pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat counting down to their deaths. But we do not want to rule through fear, Ambassador Rodriguez continued. We want to rule through cooperation. The coalition can continue to exist, but as part of a larger family, with Earth as the protector and guide. Your people will be free to live as they choose, but the days of unprovoked wars and conquest are over. And if we refuse, whispered Admiral Rex Kwan, then this conversation ends, and we will find other species to work with. The galaxy is large, and you are not the only civilizations in it. High Commander Vextar looked around the hall at his fellow leaders. All of them were surrounded by the red targeting light. All of them knew they could die in the next second if they chose wrong. You are asking us to give up everything we have built, he said. We are asking you to give up the parts that harm others, Ambassador Rodriguez corrected. Your art, your culture, your science, these things will flourish under Earth's protection. Only your ability to wage war will end. She stepped closer to the coalition leader. 3 years ago, we warned you what would happen if you attacked us again. Today, you learned we keep our promises. Now you must choose whether you want a future where your children grow up in peace, or no future at all. Vextar closed his eyes and thought about the reports from the human attack. Every military installation in coalition space had been destroyed in 7 minutes. These humans could have killed billions of civilians just as easily, but they had chosen not to. What guarantee do we have that you will treat us fairly? He asked. The same guarantee you had when you decided to attack Earth, Ambassador Rodriguez replied. Our word and our demonstrated character. We could have destroyed you completely 3 years ago, but we warned you instead. We could have killed your civilian populations today, but we targeted only military assets. We are offering you partnership, not slavery. General Fexmore spoke up angrily. How do we know you will not demand more later? How do we know this is not just the first step toward total conquest? You do not know, the ambassador admitted, just as we did not know whether you would honor our warning 3 years ago. But you chose to attack an innocent colony ship, and we chose to respond with measured force. Our actions speak to our character. She looked around the hall at all the coalition leaders. You have 1 hour to decide. Accept Earth's terms and begin a new age of peace, or reject them and face the consequences. The choice is yours. Ambassador Rodriguez walked back up the aisle and disappeared through the same entrance she had used. But her presence lingered in the red light that continued to surround every coalition leader. In the silence that followed, the most powerful beings in the galaxy faced the hardest decision in their history. The Treaty of Sol was signed in the same assembly hall where Ambassador Rodriguez had delivered Earth's ultimatum 1 week earlier. The document was written on special paper made from trees that grew on both Earth and the coalition homeworlds, a symbol of the cooperation that was to come. High Commander Vextar held the signing pen with a trembling hand. Around him sat the leaders of all 12 coalition species, their faces showing a mixture of defeat and uncertain hope. The red targeting lights had finally been turned off, but everyone remembered what they meant. With this signature, Vextar said formally, the Galactic Coalition accepts Earth's protection and guidance. We surrender our military alliance and pledge to work for peace throughout the galaxy. He signed his name and passed the pen to the next leader. One by one, they all signed the treaty that ended the coalition's 1,000-year reign and began a new age under human leadership. Admiral Chen stood quietly at the side of the hall, watching history unfold. She had expected to feel victory or satisfaction, but instead she felt only relief. The war was finally over. 3 months later, the changes were already visible throughout coalition space. The massive weapon factories had been converted to build medical equipment and farming machines. The shipyards that once produced warships now created cargo vessels to carry trade goods between worlds. On the planet Thex Minor, former General Thexmore worked alongside human engineers to design new cities. The humans had brought advanced construction technology that could build homes in days instead of months. "I still do not understand why you help us," Thexmore said to his human partner, Engineer Janet Walsh. "We attacked your world. We tried to destroy your people. Why do you not punish us?" Janet looked up from the city plans they were studying. "Because punishment does not build a better future. We learned that from our own history. Humans spent thousands of years fighting each other until we finally realize that cooperation works better than conquest." "But surely you must want revenge for what we did." "We got our revenge," Janet replied simply. "We proved that we were stronger. Now we want something more important than revenge. We want peace." The transformation was not just technological. On every former coalition world, humans worked with local species to solve old problems. They shared medical knowledge that cured diseases, farming techniques that ended hunger, and energy technology that cleaned up polluted environments. Dr. Rebecca Martinez, the scientist who had developed Earth's quantum technology, now led a team of researchers from 6 different species. They were working on a project that would have been impossible during the Coalition's rule, a device that could restore dead planets to life. "The quantum field generators can actually reverse environmental damage," she explained to her alien colleagues. "We can bring back extinct plants and animals, clean poisoned water, and rebuild destroyed ecosystems." The alien scientists listened with amazement. During the Coalition years, destroyed worlds were simply abandoned. The idea of healing them had never occurred to their leaders. But perhaps the most remarkable change was how quickly the former enemies learned to work together. Human flexibility combined with alien knowledge created innovations that neither species could have achieved alone. On the Coalition capital world, the old military command center had been converted into a diplomatic meeting hall. Representatives from dozens of species gathered there each week to discuss trade agreements, scientific cooperation, and cultural exchanges. Ambassador Rodriguez, now Earth's senior representative to the former coalition, presided over these meetings. She had kept her real human appearance instead of using disguises. The alien leaders needed to see that their new partners were honest about who they were. "The exploration of the Vega sector is proceeding ahead of schedule," reported Captain Torres, who now commanded a mixed crew of humans and aliens. "We have discovered 3 new habitable worlds and established peaceful contact with 2 previously unknown species." This was another major change. Under the Coalition, first contact with new species usually meant conquest or demands for submission. Under Earth's leadership, it meant offers of friendship and trade. The new species were often suspicious at first. They had heard stories about the powerful coalition and expected similar treatment from their human successors. Instead, they found partners who respected their independence and offered help without demanding anything in return. "Earth's approach is simple," Ambassador Rodriguez explained to a newly contacted species called the Kelthari. "We share what we have and learn what you can teach us. No one is forced to join our alliance, but everyone is welcome to benefit from it." The Kelthari leader, a being that looked like a walking crystal, glowed with curiosity. "What do you gain from this? Why help strangers?" "Because strangers become friends, and friends make the galaxy safer for everyone." the ambassador replied. It was a philosophy that worked remarkably well. Within 6 months of the Treaty of Saul, the former coalition territories were more peaceful and prosperous than they had been in centuries. Trade flourished between worlds that had previously been isolated. Scientific discoveries accelerated as different species shared their knowledge freely. But the most important change was that war itself began to disappear. The hidden weapons that Earth had used to threaten the coalition leaders were still there, still watching, still ready. Every government in the known galaxy understood that starting a conflict would bring swift and certain destruction. This knowledge created what historians later called the Great Peace, a period when military forces became almost unnecessary because no one dared to use them. Admiral Chen, now promoted to Supreme Commander of Galactic Defense, maintained a small but incredibly advanced fleet. These ships patrolled the galaxy's borders, explored unknown regions, and responded to emergencies. They rarely needed to fire their weapons, because their mere presence was enough to prevent conflicts. Status report, Admiral Chen requested during her weekly briefing. All sectors remain peaceful, reported Captain Torres. The Rigel dispute was resolved through negotiation. The Centauri trade agreement was signed successfully. 3 new species have requested contact with Earth diplomatic missions. Any military threats? None detected. The quantum monitoring network shows no unusual weapon developments or fleet movements anywhere in the galaxy. Admiral Chen smiled. A year ago, this same briefing would have included reports of battles, invasions, and refugee crises. Now the biggest problems were trade disputes and cultural misunderstandings. Problems that could be solved with words instead of weapons. On Earth itself, the changes were just as dramatic. The planet that had once been threatened with destruction was now the center of the largest peaceful alliance in galactic history. Ships from dozens of worlds arrived daily, bringing alien visitors who wanted to see the homeworld of their protectors. In New York City, the old United Nations building had been expanded to house the Galactic Council. Representatives from over 50 species met there to coordinate their efforts and plan for the future. The humans had proven to be different kinds of conquerors. Instead of demanding tribute, they encouraged trade. Instead of imposing their culture, they celebrated diversity. Instead of ruling through fear, they led through example. As Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Defense Headquarters, looking out at Earth's blue skies, she thought about the message her people had sent 3 years ago. Attack us again and be destroyed. The galaxy had received that warning and learned its lesson. But more importantly, they had discovered that Earth offered something better than threats. They offered hope for a future where different species could work together instead of fighting each other. The warning still echoed through space, carried by quantum transmitters hidden throughout the galaxy. Every ship, every planet, every civilization knew the words by heart. But now those words represented something different. Not a threat of destruction, but a promise of protection. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders. Under Earth's guidance, all its peoples could explore those wonders together. The age of war was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And in the depths of space, the hidden weapons waited patiently, ensuring that this new peace would last forever.